Hey, Vishal and Eastwar and the guy Bhushan. Yeah. So this is for you guys. So AWS with the DevOps patch 58. Course duration is 3 months. Class timings are 4 to 5 p.m. AST. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we will cover in this course, we'll cover about Linux, AWS, DevOps, cloud, and DevOps tools, guys. And what is DevOps? So we already discussed it, right? Why DevOps, so DevOps life cycle, SDLC, and what is all protocol. So so what is that? Okay. Okay. Secondaries. So we'll discuss about the course content. We already discussed, right, guys? Yep. So this is the course. So we're discussing in the Linux, guys. Ishwar and the Bhushan. What is operating system? Types of operating system. Types of hardware. So what is data center? How to deploy application in the hardware and operating system? What is website? Real-time environment. So what is Linux OS? Who developed the Linux OS? Flavors of Linux and versions of Linux. So what is virtualization? Physical versus virtualization. And how to install virtualization software on Windows machine, how to install Linux OS on virtualization software, Linux architecture, Linux file system hierarchy, Linux basic commands, user administration, file permissions, disk partitions, package management, and install Tomcat Apache Web Services on CentOS 9 and how to deploy the application. So this is the Linux and basic part, guys. Then we'll start the AWS. And so we will include the DevOps tools when we start the AWS. So once we start the AWS, right, we'll discuss about the Terraform. So we will launch the EC2 instance in the manual thing, how we can launch the EC2 instance and Terraform through ISC code, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, SonarQube, Jenkins, so ELK, Kubernetes, Docker. Okay, Prometheus, Grafana. We'll show you all the tools, guys. Okay. Yeah. So you already know. Ishwar, are you working or something like that? Ishwar, sorry, I didn't understand what you are telling. Are you working currently or something like I am? Are you looking for searching? Okay. Okay. So Bhushan, you are also working. You are working on right? Working as a developer, right? .NET.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir,
Okay.
Krishna.
So you know, right? What is OS? Types of OS.
Yes, yes.
So what is operating system? So I'm asking about only Bhushan and Ishwar. You don't know, right? Will tell you guys. So what is operating system? Something like you guys are using Dell or HP laptops, right, guys? So Dell and HP laptops. This is you guys. On your Dell and HP, which OS is installed, guys? On our Dell and HP laptops, which OS is installed? Bhushan Iswar. Which OS is installed on your laptop? Bhushan? Yeah, guys. Something like Windows 11 and Windows 10, right? So without OS, are you able to interact with this hardware? Are you able to interact with this hardware? Bhushan or Ishwar? Without OS? No, right?
No.
Why? So Ishwar and Bhushan. So without OS, are you able to interact with this hardware, HP and Dell? No. Why? No? Why? So for example, so this is operating system. What this is? This is a operating system, OS, right? So for example, this is your a laptop and this is you guys. What this is? This is a you. Computer user, right? So in your hardware, the OS is not installed. So because of so computer knows which language guys? Binary language means zeros and ones, right? User knows which language, high level language, but we call it as a layman language. We call it as English language. You know only English language, either Bhushan or Ishwar. So Bhushan or Ishwar knows only English language and computer knows only binary language. Binary means zeros and ones. Right? Are you able to directly communicate with each other? No. So because you know only English language and the hardware knows only binary language. Right? So what we need guys, for example, this is Bhushan, this is Ishwar. This is Ishwar. So Bhushan knows only Telugu language and Ishwar knows only Hindi language. Right? Are you able to communicate with each other, guys? Because of Bhushan doesn't know the Hindi language and Ishwar doesn't know the Telugu language. There is no possibility to communicate with each other. So who need guys here? Something like who need a mediator is needed. So who is the mediator? Who is the mediator? For example, Hari is the mediator. Who is the mediator? Hari is the mediator. Hari knows both the languages. Who is mediator here? Hari is the mediator. He knows the Telugu. He knows the Telugu and the Hindi languages. So whatever Ishwar wants to convey Bhushan, so directly, so he can inform to the Hari. Hari will translate from Hindi to Telugu and convey it to the Bhushan. The same way, whatever the Bhushan wants to convey, the same way, whatever the Bhushan wants to convey, so Bhushan so wants to inform a information to Ishwar. So something like so we instead of directly convey to the Ishwar, he is so convey to the Hari. Hari will translate it and convey to the Ishwar. Yes, my understand? So who is a mediator here? So Hari is the mediator and he knows both the languages. Same like as a OS is the mediator which knows both the languages. What is that? Binary and binary and English. So whatever the so whatever want to convey a computer, user something like a pressed in the keyboard A, so took that voice and give it to the computer something like 1010 or something like that. The vice versa. So whatever the computer wants to convey information to the user, we will give it to the OS. OS will translate and convey to the user. Guys, understood? So what is OS? Guys, what is OS? Bhushan, Iswar. It's a it's a mediator between user and computer. Guys, understood? It's a simple meaning. What is a OS, guys? OS is a mediator between. So Ishwar muted himself. Okay. So what is OS, guys? A simple meaning. It's a mediator between user and computer. It's a mediator between user and computer. Right, guys? And so Ishwar and Bhushan. So which mobile phones are you using, guys? Which hardware you are using? Bhushan, which hardware you are using? Ishwar, Bhushan.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Android.
which one? Oppo,
Android, Samsung.
Samsung you are using.
Yeah.
Okay. Bhushan, what about you?
Hello, it's back way, sir.
Sorry, Bhushan, which mobile phone are you using? Hardware. Which hardware you are using? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Guys are able to understand, right? So something like here you are the user and this is the mobile. So in this hardware, so which voice is installed? Android voice is installed. Here also Android voice is installed. Without Android voice, you are unable to connect with this server, connect with this mobile, right? So if you are interacting with any hardware, for example, this is a router or a modem. What is this? This is a router or modem. So this is a router or modem. In this router or a modem, so whenever they installed the username, Wi-Fi username, password, so you are changing after you changed the Wi-Fi username and password after installation, right? So how you are changing your Wi-Fi username and password after installation the changes. So this is also a hardware, right? This is also a hardware. So hardware directly you are not interacting with this hardware. Something like definitely there will be a OS is installed. So definitely there is a OS. If you are interacting with any hardware, definitely if you are interacting with any hardware, definitely there will be a OS is installed. What is that? There will be a OS is installed. So then only you are interacting with this hardware. Guys, now understood? So from now onwards, you guys can remember if you are interacting with any hardware, definitely there will be a OS is installed. Definitely there will be a OS is installed. Understood? So right. So what is the operating system? It's a mediator between user and computer. So types of operating systems. So what are the types of operating systems, guys? Does anyone knows how many types of hardware operating systems are there? So I'm asking about only Bhushan and Ishwar. What is that? Types of operating system. So how many types of operating systems are there? Ishwar, Bhushan, do you know? Yeah. So we have a two types of operating systems. We have a two types of operating systems. So guys, so in your laptop, how many users are connected at a time? So in your laptop, how many users are connected at a time? Bhushan, Ishwar, Mahesh, 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 you there?
చెప్పండి సార్.
Yeah. How many types of operating systems are there?
విండోస్,
Hmm.
విండో 8, విండో 16,
Mm-hmm.
మ్యాక్,
Mm-hmm.
ఐఓఎస్ ఓఎస్, అండ్
Raghu, Raghu, you there, right? So Raghu, you are on mute. Okay. My guys, Ishwar Bhushan doesn't know, right? How many types of operating systems are? Yeah, I will tell. Mahesh, you forgot, single user operating system and multi-user operating system. So single user operating system and multi-user operating system, guys. So single user operating system means something like so you are using, right? You are using HP, Dell, Lenovo. These all are single user operating systems. So how many people can connect at a time? Only one people can connect at a time, and we work on that. So Windows 11, right? So something like Windows 10. So something like a Windows 8, Windows 8. These all are the single user operating systems. So what are these guys? So single user operating system means so only one people can connect at a time and will work on that oh, computer. So examples Windows 11, Windows 7. What are the examples, guys? The examples of Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 8, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows XP. Right, these all are the and Mac. So Macintosh. So Macintosh is nothing but a Mac OS. So Macintosh is nothing but a Macintosh is nothing but a Mac OS. Okay. And so what are the hardwares are supported for this operating system? So what are the hardwares are supported? So for example, a Dell Latitude 5420. So what these guys these operating systems are a single user operating system. So only one people can connect at a time and work on this. Right. So multi-user operating system. What are the multi-user operating system? Dell Latitude, Dell PowerEdge, R710. We have a number of hardwares. Yeah, guys. This is the multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system supported hardware. What this is? This is multi-user operating system supported hardware. Okay, this is the hardware. So what are the types of OSs, guys? Windows Server 2018, Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2008. Okay. So Linux is a popular for multi-user operating system. So which one, guys? So Linux is the popular for a multi-user operating system. So right, guys. So who developed the Windows, guys? Windows operating system? Ishwar Bhushan. Who developed the Windows operating system? Mahesh.
The Microsoft.
Yeah, very good. Microsoft company created two types of OSs. So one is single user operating system. The other one is a multi-user operating system. Guys. What is that? So one is for single user operating system and the another one is for multi-user operating system. So the hardware company is also designed for two types of hardware. One is for single user operating system, another one is for multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system. Guys, understood? So what is that? So what is operating system? Types of operating system. There are two types of operating system: single user operating system, multi user system. Types of hardwares. So types of hardwares. Linux. So what is a Linux OS? Who developed the Linux OS? What is the Linux OS? Who developed the Linux OS? So this Linux OS is supported for the multi-user operating system. Multi-user operating system. So here we need to tell Windows is GUI and the Linux is CLI operating system. Guys, what is GUI? GUI is nothing but a graphical user interface. So Linux CLI is nothing but a command line interface. You guys understood? So what is the difference between Windows and Linux? So Windows OS is graphical user interface means minimize, maximize. So it's a The OS is developed with the help of images. With the help of images. So Linux is the command line interface. How you can interact with this Linux? So we can interact with this Linux through commands only. So we can interact with this OS through commands only. Yes, understood? This is nothing but a Linux operating system. So Linux is the CLI command line interface. The Windows is the graphical user interface. Right now you understood. Who developed the Windows? Windows developed with the microsystem. And who developed the Linux? Who developed the Linux guys? So Linux was developed by the who is Linus Torvald. So he studied in 1991. So one of the university and his mentor is asking to create a new OS for a new OS and based on the Unix OS, based on the Unix OS, he created a Minix OS. So what he created guys? He created a Minix OS. But Minix OS having some drawbacks. What is that? A Minix OS having some drawbacks. He overcome those drawbacks. What are the drawbacks, for example? No network. There is no network on the Minix OS. He overcome those problems and created a new OS. What is that, guys? He created a new OS and he is thinking to put the new name for this OS. He's thinking to put a new name for this OS. New OS. And he is thinking to put a new name for this OS. So what he took, guys? He took first four letters from his name. What is that? First, four letters from his name. What are the four letters, guys? L-I-N-U, Linux, Linus, Torvald, right? So what is the last letter from Unix? He took the first four letters from his name and last letter from X, last letter from X. Then they created as a Linux OS. Guys, now you understood how Linux came into the picture? Linux operating system. Guys, understood how Linux operating system came into the picture? Guys, understood? So, who developed the guy? So, Linus Torvald in 1991, based on the Unix OS, he created a Minix OS. So, that Minix OS having some drawbacks. That meaning was having some drawbacks. He overcome those drawbacks and created a new OS and thinking to put the new name for that OS. He took the first four letters from his name and the last letter from X. So then he created as a Linux OS. Then he created as a Linux OS and he released as a he released as a open source. What is that, guys? Open source. So what is the difference between commercial and open source, guys? So commercial is nothing but if you want to use that software, so before that you need to buy the license. So before that you want to, so before that you need to buy the license if you want to use it. Right. So Linux is the competitor for the Windows and he released as an open source. He released as a open source. So open source is nothing but so what is open source? We have a 2.1 is free of cost. The second one is what is that, guys? Source code also available. What is source code? Source code means whenever you develop the software, right? So that time you develop with the programs. That program's code is nothing but a source code. The program's code is nothing but a source code. You are freely available that source code, right? So everyone can use it and customize whatever they want. So same like as a some of the companies are took that source code and created their own type of Linux OS systems. So what are those? The Linux OS, IBM company took that source code and created their own OS called as a AAX Linux OS. The same way, HP company took that source code. HP company took that source code and created their own OS called as a UX Linux OS. Okay, so and Sun Solaris. What is it? So Sun Solaris, Sun Microsystems, Sun Microsystems. So initially Java developed by the Sun Microsystem. Later, the Java is acquired by the Oracle. Java is acquired by the Oracle. What is that, guys? So the Solaris Linux, he created the Solaris Linux OS. And Amazon company took that source code and created their own voice called as a Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux OS. So Oracle company took that source code and created their own voice called as a Oracle Linux and Red Hat INC. What is that, guys? So Red Hat INC, Red Hat INC took that source code and created their own voice called as a Fedora, Windows, Red Hat. Okay, same like as a Debian company took that source code and created their own voice called as a Ubuntu OS. Ubuntu OS. Okay, Ubuntu OS. So something like let's see, Linux, Free, BSD Linux, Rocky Linux, Linux. So we'll discuss everything. Please understood? So in Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat, right? If you learn any one of them, something like Amazon Linux, Oracle Linux, Red Hat Linux, right? If you learn any one of these OS, so it will be very easy to understand the other remaining also. Okay, what is the version of Amazon Linux? Something like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So 7 and 8 and 9. 7, 8, 9. The present version of the Red Hat and CentOS is 9. The present version of the Red Hat and CentOS is 9. So what we will learn in this course, we will learn in this course CentOS 9, guys. It's a free of cost, and the Red Hat is the commercial ones, and right. So we can use it, and we can use it any one of the Linux, and you can deploy your application on this. You deploy your application on this server, guys. Right. So where we are deploying our application. So what this is? So this is the Red Hat server. What this is? This is the server. Okay. So in this server, so which OS we need to install? So we need to install under the CentOS 7. Yeah, this is the hardware. And we install the CentOS 7. CentOS 9 we installed on this machine. Okay, then we can deploy our application like our application is related to Java, Tomcat web server. Okay, we need to install the Java Tomcat. Then we can deploy our application and then it will be live. So that will be live from your room. Let's see what are the drawbacks and Linux. Why Linux is popular? Linux is popular because of so that high secure and it's a portable and it's a high portable. So something like if you want to manage the infrastructure, 20 GB, something like 8 GB is enough for the Linux. So if you have a 8 GB of space in our server, it will be easy to install the remaining ones. Okay. Yep. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll continue from tomorrow. And before that, so what are the doubts or do you have? Bhushan, Ishwar, does anyone having any doubts? Bhushan, are you able to understand, right? Ishwar, Ishwar, yes, are you able to understand? Hmm. Yeah, Bhushan, what about you?
No, no hurry, it's fine.
Fine, right? Are you able to understand, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll continue from tomorrow.
Thank you, Hari.
Yeah. So, Bhushan and Ishwar. So, our team Kirti will send you a few recordings, guys. You guys can watch that recording before the class. Okay?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, thank you.